everybody. What's up, Hector, Dennis, Mike, Eric, how are you? Sergio, what's going on? QB, what's up? Eric, I appreciate that, thank you. Prodigy, what's going on? Jonathan, how are you? Buddy, how you doing? I like the name Buddy. JB, how you doing, my friend? How you doing? What's up, Mateo? All the way from Italy, my friend Mateo. Owen, James. Back again. Actually, I'm going to turn on my voice a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Okay. What's up, Dill? Did you guys just see the news? Baseball needs to get bigger in the UK. I wonder what the best way to do that would be. Genuinely, like how would you increase viewership in the UK? The problem with that is just the problem with like us watching Australian football or us watching soccer, right? News, what news? What's going on, Mike? How are you? I just got back to you on Discord, Mike. The news is that the Orioles just got sold. The Orioles just got sold. Problem with that is it's not like they're going to be spending money immediately. It looks like the deal was finalized, but they don't have like an end date on the deal. So I guess we won't really know when the Orioles actually do get sold, but they are in agreement to sell, which is going to be big for the Red Sox because now that means that a hungry ownership is going to be coming in with a stacked roster. With a stacked roster and money to spend. That's terrifying because then you get the Yankees, the Rays, who are always big, the Blue Jays, who just made a play at Ohtani, and now you got the Baltimore Orioles, who are going to be owned by someone who wants to win with money and with a really good roster. So, not great for the Red Sox, but nothing this offseason has been super great for the Red Sox, if we're being totally honest. Turner went to the Jays. Yes. Justin Turner is officially with the Blue Jays. Signed a 1-year deal today. He is officially no longer an option for the Red Sox. The question is, who is an option for the Red Sox? That's sort of what we're looking at today. We've got a couple of things we're going to cover in today's video. We're going to be talking about some possible pitching options for the Red Sox, looking at some possible trade probabilities for certain people on the team, mostly Kenley Jansen. What up, Ben? Taking a look at what Justin Turner not coming back could mean for the Red Sox, both on the field and off the field. And we're going to be looking at some other stuff as well. Glad I could be your entertainment, Mike, while you're cooking up dinner. What's up, Sergio? They're going with the young guys? Looks like they are, yeah. I've seen stuff about Garrett Cooper. I don't know if that's super accurate, though. Garrett Cooper was mentioned by Chris Cotillo as a possible option for the Red Sox as a pivot away from Adam Duvall. It hasn't been confirmed by the team or anything else. Hey, bro, just got home from work every day and open YouTube in my living room and look for new Red Sea Radio videos. I appreciate that, Evan. That means a lot to me. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, there's not any news going on, new news that we have not talked about on the channel, but there is stuff going on that we can talk about, which is going to make this super interesting, right? I don't know where you guys want to start. Looks like a lot of people want to start with Justin Turner. Henry will bomb the Red Sox back into the 1950 non-contender Red Sox. Eric, were you alive to see that? What up, Prodigy? You're outside right now? That sounds brutal. It's cold out. I guess we start with Justin Turner because that's what, that's just the latest news. My personal opinion, I was upset about not getting Justin Turner back. I thought what Justin Turner did last year was really, honestly, nothing short of impressive, right? Playing through that injury for, 2 months, being a leader both on the field and off the field. So I was pretty upset to see him go. I don't think bringing Justin Turner back alone would have solved the Red Sox issues, right? I think a lot of what the Red Sox are dealing with is on the pitching side of things. So even if you brought him back, sure, you'd be getting the leadership, the intangibles that Justin Turner brings. But in terms of on-field play, I think it is easy. Well, not easy, but it is available to replicate that with players already on the team and then adding in other players as well. For 1 year, $13 million, right? This isn't the straw that broke the camel's back, in my opinion. But I did really like Justin Turner. I did want him back, and I hate the fact that he's with the Toronto Blue Jays. One, because I just can't stand the Toronto Blue Jays, and two, because now he's in the division. You know he's going to kill us every time he sees us, right? It's just how things are going to go. So that's just that. Those are my thoughts initially on Justin Turner. The question is now where the Red Sox pivoted. And on top of that, it wasn't like the Red Sox were ever super involved with Justin Turner at the beginning of the offseason, right? Craig Breslow comes out. He talks about versatility. Alex Cora comes out. He talks about versatility. Justin Turner's just not all that versatile anymore. Terrence with a $1.99 super check. We get some claps to the chat for Terrence. Thank you so much, Terrence. I appreciate you. Our stream alerts are well behind today. So it'll probably come up in about 10 minutes. Versatility, been a member for 11 months. Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Corbin. Well, first of all, I appreciate you being here. There it is. I appreciate you being here for 11 months. Versatility means a lot. Happy birthday also means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, it's not technically till Sunday, but I'm not going to be streaming before then, so I figured we'd have a little birthday stream this week. Willier will fill the production offensively, I'm really hoping. I think it'll be a combination, right? You look at the guys that they brought in. I talked about this in the video today. The Red Sox offense could be in a really good spot. It just depends on, thank you, Prodigy. It just depends on the people that are able to fill those holes, right? Dylan, been a member for 1 month. Happy birthday. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Eric, if you're still blaming this on Craig Breslow, you aren't paying attention. I don't know. It's just, I mean, at this point, right, everything that's going on with the Red Sox is been orchestrated by John Henry, essentially. I just think there's, Craig is under so many, penalties is the wrong word. He's under so many restrictions. What do you, if you're not blaming the ownership and you're blaming Breslow and calling him Brez Slow, you're just not paying attention. That's the only thing I can say. Thoughts on Soler? Duvall more likely? Yeah, I would be pretty shocked if they brought in Soler at this point. I think what they're looking for is a 1 year cheap option in terms of a bat. I would guess it's going to end up being Adam Duvall. That's who I think. I would be pretty shocked if you get Jorge Soler. The question is, though, the Red Sox have been pretty hell-bent on not going past 2 years, right? Maybe 3 years if it's the right person. Soler, we knew, was looking like Teoscar Hernandez for that third year. If his market with Justin Turner signing changes a little bit, takes the Blue Jays out of the equation a little bit, does that change the market at all? I wouldn't completely rule it out, but I also wouldn't pencil it in either. And I would say right now, I would think Adam Duvall is the most likely candidate, or a guy like Gary Sanchez or Garrett Cooper, one of these guys who probably isn't the caliber of everyday DH that we're looking for, because I know a lot of people love Adam Duvall for what he was able to do last year, but he's just never been that fully everyday capable third hitter in a lineup. That's just who he's never been. So to ask that of him going into his age 35 season is probably something he's not going to be able to do. And that's pretty much the same thing as a Garrett Cooper, as a Gary Sanchez, that are in the Red Sox price range right now. What they're looking for is someone they can rotate through a DH position, mix and match with certain people, right? You get Garrett Cooper, that's a right-handed bat that does really well against lefties. All of these guys sort of do well against lefties. That's kind of where my head's at when you're talking about Adam Duvall coming back to the Red Sox. Do you still have hope to see Monty in a Red Sox jersey? I can't give that up. I flat out can't give that up. I feel like I don't know. I refuse to accept the more likely reality that it's just not going to happen, that they just aren't going to be able to get a deal done, because it just makes so much sense. Everyone in baseball is saying it makes so much sense, right? Ken Rosenthal was saying it makes so much sense. Jeff Passan was saying, like, everyone, but it appears as though the Red Sox understand how impactful Jordan Montgomery would be. So I just flat out cannot give up the idea that at some point they're going to pull their heads out of their butts here and they're going to say, hey, wait a second, why are we trying to get 2 years out of Monty? Let's just give him 4 and get this deal done. But it sucks, because like the rational part of me is being like, well, Corbin, that's probably not going to happen. But then there's the diehard fan in me who's just like, at some point they have to realize how perfect this is. Basically, when it comes to a hitter, we just want to spend on players on prove-it deals. Just want to clarify if that's what you're saying. It's not so much prove-it deals. It's not so much prove-it deals as it is just deals worth their value. I mean, you take a look at the sort of list here: Adam Duvall, Garrett Cooper, Gary Sanchez. There's not going to be any team in Major League Baseball that's going to give them more than 2 years. And it's because they're really good at one thing, but they need to be mixed and matched. They're not an everyday 3-hole hitter that you can plug in. Like a Jorge Soler is an everyday 3-hole hitter that you can give 2 years, maybe a third-year option to, and he's going to be productive in those seasons, or hopefully productive in those seasons, right? Adam Duvall, Cooper, Sanchez, these guys aren't on prove-it deals. They're on deals that are worth their value. And I think that's why we're seeing the Red Sox sort of move towards them. Hey, Corbin, do you think that the plan is to sign another starting pitcher since they or do you feel they're going to use the players that they already have? I think they'll bring in someone else. I think they'll bring in, what up, Robbie? I think they'll bring in someone else. I don't know what caliber it's going to be. Ideally, right, you'd want them to have a top-line starting guy, because, again, I talked about it in my video today, but you have a core right now that, especially offensively, has the potential to be a top 10 offense in baseball, and realistically will be a top half offense in this game. Your defense is going to get closer towards the mean. It's not going to be good, but it's going to be closer towards the average, and all you need to do is set your rotation, and anything can happen. Again, right now, with the team alone, you're probably looking at breaking even or barely above even as sort of your mid-max, right? Where your maximum is 85 wins, but your more realistic maximum is 80, 82 wins, with your floor being that 76, 78 we saw in 23. You add in a legitimate frontline starting pitcher like a Jordan Montgomery, who's going to be able on his own to give you 3 or 4 wins, and all of a sudden, you're talking about a maximum potential of this team being 87, 88 wins, and yeah, things have to go right, but that also gives you a shot at a wild card while staying under your budget. To me, it's just baffling that you wouldn't do anything. I appreciate that, Jason. Thank you. What's up, Dennis? No Snell? Why not Snell? In my opinion, Snell is... I know a lot of people don't like it, but I like the idea of Snell in Boston. I think Snell's a name. Snell realistically does give you that sort of caliber of starting pitcher you're looking for, but there are it's a risk, right? It's a calculated risk, but it's going to be a risk. You've got his walk ratio, you've got his inability to go deep into games or pitch as many games as you would possibly like, but when he is pitching, he's going to be a Cy Young candidate, right? That's the type of guy you need. The problem is when you compare it to a guy like Jordan Montgomery, it's much less of a risk, and it's much less of a contract when you're looking at Montgomery. And to me, that's why I think Montgomery fits better with this team. What can Nesson do to improve their viewership? Have a winning ball club, realistically. Is Ryu going to be the pitcher they bring in? He could be. I wouldn't be shocked. He's a lefty. He's going to be inexpensive. He'll be under that deal. What's up, Dan? He'll be under that sort of threshold of we don't want to spend more than a blank amount of money in a blank amount of years. It wouldn't be fantastic, but it's not going to be fun. The Athletic published a list of the best free agents available. Clevenger's among them. Still link them to us. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I don't love I don't love the idea of Clevenger at all. I'm a big proponent of you shouldn't have to waive your morals to root for a team, right? You shouldn't have to be like, well, I don't like this guy, but he's on my team, so I'm going to have to root for him, especially with the bad PR the Red Sox have been getting this offseason. I just don't love that idea. Maybe he helps this team win, maybe he doesn't, but that's why I would be hesitant. Oh, that's awesome, Isaac. I'm glad you got it. Comparing to JD signing with us, there's going to be a late signing for much less money than they asking for. It could. Yeah, I saw that, King. It just made the AL East so much harder. What's up, Wes? 6 years in between without a single Cy Young vote. When you compare Montgomery and Snell's careers, it's really not a competition as to who's had the more accomplished career. And I'm not just talking about Cy Youngs. I'm not just talking about all-star games. Like actual statistics, you take a look at their careers. And the literal only thing that Jordan Montgomery beats Blake Snell in is walk rate. Everything else Blake Snell owns. And part of that is because of the fact that Blake Snell's been in the league for a couple more years. One more year specifically, but he still leads them in innings. He still leads them in games started. He still leads them in wins, ERA plus, strikeout, K rate, everything. $2 from Versatility says, breaking news, Angelos just agreed to sell the O's. Yes, he did. Agreed to sell them to two private billionaires. He did agree. We don't know when that deal's going to actually take place, so it'll be interesting to see how it impacts. There it is. I'm going to mute this so you guys don't hear it twice. I just mute this. So I don't know what that means for the Red Sox. I mean, obviously it's going to impact them negatively. You've got brand new ownership with a really impressive core, and you've got a hunger to win and spend money. That's scary, right? In a market where you're already trying to compete with the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Rays. It's really scary. It seems weird that trade speculations have completely disappeared around the Red Sox. Honestly, to me, it looks like the Red Sox took like a big trade off the table. That's what it looks like, which is terrifying because that was how we all sort of figured the Red Sox would go if they want to save money, and it doesn't look like they want to part with anyone who'd be willing to give you that big, addition to the team, and that's a big problem. Do you think the off-field stuff makes Clevenger a no-go in Boston? Romero, I'll say this, and I'll just say this one more time for people who didn't hear it. I'm a big proponent of not having to lose your morals to root for a team, right? Dennis, also a member for 10 months. Honored to be on Red Sea with you, Corbin. Dennis, I appreciate you so much. $5 super chat from Dennis. After that, no message, but I appreciate you anyways. Can we get some claps in the chat? Hopefully the Sox start spending after that deal goes through. I don't know if they will. Thank you, Salty. I appreciate that. Think the Rangers are signing Robertson? Interesting. We have good fans and good team that won't spend, and if the prospects fail, we're screwed. Yeah, kind of. Do you believe that the Red Sox still likely even with all the drama? Oh, you think another Red Sox trade is still likely? Yeah, I think there will be a trade at some point. Personally, I think it'll be for Kenley Jansen. I think that was sort of my trade thing part of this thumbnail. Um, I I do think that the Red Sox will trade Jansen before opening day just to get some money off the table. Hey, Corbin, we all know it's a good night when there's a stream in a Celtics game, but I really believe that patience in the 2025 season with this team can be something special. I've said it before. I think the core coming up with the Red Sox is something special, and not just because of the talent, but because of how integrated they are with each other, how well they know and understand each other, and how they want to succeed with each other. And I think that's going to be big. That's what we saw with the Orioles last year, right? They weren't particularly fantastic at one certain aspect of the game, but they worked as a team, and they were a legitimate team the entire season, and they ended up winning, getting to the playoffs, winning their division, right? And I think that's what we could see with the youth on this clubhouse, but they also have to do it on the field, right? And that's just the unproven. We don't know. We know that they're going to be close knit. We know that they're going to be, together, focused on one goal. What we don't know is what that looks like in action, and that's sort of the fear, right? McGuire to Miami for a single A pitcher. I wouldn't be surprised if they do move on from him. Kenley Jansen for lefty starter. That it's not going to work like that. They're going to have to trade Kenley for basically nothing. So someone takes on a lot of his salary, and then they'll go out and they'll sign someone. Who that is, I have no idea. Appreciate that, Michael. Welcome in, my friend. Thank you so much. It feels like ownership is treating this like a pitching rebuild after 5 years of positional player rebuild. That's it right there, Clip. That's my big fear, right? Because you hear about Craig Breslow wanting to build up not just the pitching in general, but the pitching development, the pitching pipeline. Okay, that's a great idea. But we just sat through 5 years of someone else doing that to our position player pipeline and development. How that took 5 years, and it's not even here yet. It's realistically going to take 6 or 7 years for that to happen. Are we now expected to wait another 6 or 7 years for the pitching pipeline to catch up? That's just not possible, right? So the problem here is if this is going to be a true pitching rebuild, they need to be able to do it within a year. That's essentially what it is, right? I think I'm not even willing to give them a year, but if that's the direction they're going in, fine. Take the year, figure it out. But if you're not there by 2025, that's a massive issue, especially because you're not taking over a team that was competitive and is now like, well, it's time to rebuild. You're taking over a team that has been rebuilding and saying, oh, let's just rebuild on top of that. And that's a lot of rebuilding for a team that really shouldn't be rebuilding at all. Did the Red Sox sign Snell and Monty? God, I wish. Who are your 5 realistic free agent we could get? I wouldn't even say there are 5 out there right now. I think we're waiting for next year to get anyone. It could be, but it's not looking like it right now. There's 100% a reality for that 70th. 70. $5 super chat for versatility. Could we get some claps in the chat for versatility, please? It's all right, Gritty. He says, Sox current problem, top 5 farm, but number 2 in players and number 29 in pitching. Yeah, that's the big problem, right? The issue I have is that you're the Boston Red Sox. You can rebuild that pipeline while also improving the major league club, and you should be able to do that. You should be able to do both. And the way you do that is you use your capital, you use your dollars, you use your pockets, you use the revenue we give you year in and year out faithfully to do both. Sign players from the independent league. Yeah, it's going to have to come from all aspects, Mike. It's going to have to be international league. It's going to have to be drafting. It's going to have to be waiver claims, right? It's going to have to be all these different things. Not sure, Romero, honestly. Yankee fan here. Baseball is boring. The Sox and Yanks aren't good. Hoping we both compete in 2024. I hope we do too, but I wouldn't put money on it. Why don't we just trade one of our top position players for an equivalent pitching prospect? That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. Definitely need Montgomery and Duvall. Use money to fill in the gap while building the farm. Yeah, that's how it should go, right? Some teams just don't try to develop both position players and pitching. They focus on one side and address the other through trades or free agency. And that's what the Red Sox did for a long time. That's what they did for a long time. There haven't been a ton of aces to come up through the Red Sox system. There haven't, right? John Lester's probably the last one. Clay Buchholz for like a season, right? And so for a while there, that's what they were doing. They were building up the position player pipeline, and they were trading/signing the starting pitching pipeline. If you're not going to do that, then you're sort of breaking the pipeline on its own. The pipeline's broken. The only way to fix it is to either go into a full rebuild, which you just did and did not successfully get your pitching, or you supplement it for the time being, and you bring up and you start to develop those pitchers while the big league guys are doing what they do. At least we have a middle infield now. That's a good point, Miles. That's a good point. Under over on Story home runs, 24. Ooh. I would say over barely. How many pitchers did they get in the international draft? It was like 7 or 8. Oh, wait. The number was much bigger. It was a lot. I can look. Should have put interest in Belly. No. I'm good on Bellinger. We have already. We have a ton. What's up, B Priest? Didn't Buchholz no-hit the Orioles? Yeah, in his second start ever in 2007. Fair to say several of the Red Sox upcoming draft picks will be pitchers. I'd be shocked if they weren't. What's up, Celtics fan? Yeah, it's been a long time since they've had it. Will Abreu under over 16 home runs? I would say under. I would say like 13 to 15 would be what it depends on, like, I know Tom Werner was like, I can't wait for Wilyer Abreu to get 400 ABs, but I don't know if he actually, I mean, he might get there, but I don't think it'll be, 20 home runs. I think he'll get, 12, 15 maybe. I appreciate that, B Priest. Thanks so much. Jarren Duran over. I like this under over. Jarren Duran over 50 stolen bases. No, I don't think he gets over 50 stolen bases. Does Casas hit 30? I think Casas hits 30. Think Tyler O'Neill can get back to form? I think if Tyler O'Neill gets everyday playing time, he could. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how Tyler O'Neill is able to adjust to not being an everyday player, basically, right? He's not going to be an everyday player with the Red Sox. Is that something that's going to hamper him getting back to what he was, or is that something that's going to allow him to focus on certain things? Predictions on Yoshida, Casas, Bayo, Grissom, Giolito, and Devers stats. Oh, my God. That's a list. Yoshida, I think, will be better than last year. Casas, I think, will be the same as last year with more home runs. Bayo, I think, takes a step forward. How big of a step forward? I think it'll be, he had an ERA over 4 in 2023. I just want to get the exact ERA so I can tell you if I think it's going to be under or over. He had a 4.24 ERA in 2023. I think that looks more like, and this is me being optimistic because I love Brian Bayo. I think it'll be like a 3.8, 3.9. Grissom, I think he'll be somewhere in between his 2022 and 2023 statistics. So in 2022, he had a 291 average. 2023, he had a 280 average. OPS of 119 in 22, 78 in 23. I think he ends up closer towards 100. I think he's like a 100 OPS plus guy, but he gets on base a lot, and that's what I'd be excited about. Giolito, I think, will come down to earth a little bit, but not be what he was in 18. And Devers, I think, will have a much better year. Bayo, 14 over-under wins, less. Some say O'Neill is definitely just a trade piece of the deadline. I saw that. I would say, I appreciate that, Dave. Thank you so much. I would say, where was I? I got lost. Oh, Tyler O'Neill's a trade piece. It's possible. But if you were going to trade him, why send the prospects over in the first place? I don't know. I don't think he'll get traded. I think he'll be here for 1 year, though. What's up, Peter? Yeah, I could tell by your comments, man. It's a frustrating time. Devers Costas combined over under 65. I would say right near 65, and that's optimistic. Devers, Costas, Martin All-Stars this year. I would say Devers and Costas have a lot of potential to be. Worst team ever put together by ownership? No, I don't think it's the worst team. I appreciate that, Dennis. Thank you so much. It's technically it's Sunday, but this is the birthday stream. Yeah, vintage cards. Not close to the worst team this ownership has put together. It won't be. Depressing? It could be depressing. What did my girlfriend get you for my birthday? She got me, I'll show you. It's like a, oh wait, wrong way. It's like a smart keyboard for my iPad, so it makes it into a laptop, which is really nice because now I can like edit a little bit. $4.99 super chat from I Love Sports. Thank you so much. Can we get some claps in the chat for I Love? He said, Sox need to spend on players, but not on players who are over the age of 30 and past their prime. But get vets who know how to keep the youngsters. Well, the problem with that, I Love, is that, first of all, thank you for your donation. The second thing is it's kind of hard to do both. It's hard to get a guy under 30 who's also a veteran. It's just, it's just sort of hard to do that with the way MLB free agency works. But I mean, I don't hate the idea at all. Yeah, no, vintage. I don't think this team is going to be better than it was last year. I'm going to put that out there. I think it will be. The question is, how much better? I think Costas and Devers could have a better defensive season. I'm not sure about Yoshida, Prodigy. Mike, you just finding independent players? In your opinion, who is the worst player the Red Sox ever signed or traded while being a Red Sox fan? I don't even think it's relatively close. I think it is Pablo Sandoval. Corbin, on the back of my neck, I have a Fenway Park tattooed. It's fat. On the other side, I have... Oh, that's pretty cool, Priest. Think we'll see Kyle Teel in Boston for the end of 2024 season? I think it depends on how he looks the first couple of months, Joe. And I know that's kind of a cop-out answer, but Kyle Teel's only played 40 games in the minor leagues, just over 40 games. That's a really small sample size in professional baseball to shoot him up to the majors, right? He's going to have to be really, really impressive through, I would say, May, June, July, and August before we see him even remotely considered for 2024. I think it's possible. I don't know if it's super likely. My idea is that the Sox are a sneaky good built team, and people need to understand that a good amount of these guys on the team have something to prove. A lot of them have something to prove. Would you rather have signed Mookie long-term and let Devers walk, or do the Mookie trade over again and sign Devers like they did? The problem is we shouldn't be having to decide between the two, but I would say keep Mookie. I think overall, I mean, Mookie's it's just statistical. Mookie's just the better player. I don't know how his contract will age, but so far it's been real. I mean, he was an MVP finalist last year, right? What does that look like in 21? I don't know. Am I crazy in thinking they can make the playoffs? I wouldn't say crazy. No. Yeah, Ruse wasn't great. I'm an Orioles fan, and can anyone tell me if the rumor is true about the Orioles getting new ownership? Yeah, Palmer. They agreed to sign. They haven't fully signed the deal yet, so we don't know when that deal's going to take place, but they did sign to sell the team. What was their win total last year? 76, 78? 78, I think. Let me get caught up here. Most underrated Sox team all time. Pick is 16. 16 probably my pick too. Under over 300 average for Yoshida. I'm going to say over. I'll be optimistic. I'll say over. The three prospects won't come up until 2025 because they won't waste control for a season. There are new control rules. So I don't think I think you're kind of right, versatility. I don't think they're going to bring him up in like June, but I could see him bringing him up towards the end of August. That would keep their rookie status intact for 25. Mookie trade felt like the Babe Ruth trade 2.0. Yeah, people are starting to say that. It's a scary thought. I believe McAdams said Meyer may be a call-up by the end of the year. Yeah, I would. Meyer makes the most sense to sort of fast-track. He's the oldest. He has the most expertise. He's got probably the highest ceiling of all of them. So, all right, still trying to catch up. We survived Bobby Valentine. They said they'd be better. You said they'd be better last year than 22, and they literally had the exact same record, so I don't know. I guess that's true. It's a good point. I don't know. I still think 24 has legit more talent than it did in 22. Want a beer? I'd love a beer, Dave. The Orioles really needed, Yoshida 27 home runs. The Red Sox traded Jeff Bagwell for Larry Anderson. That was a bad trade. Wasn't a good trade. It just annoys me that we basically trade Mookie for the decent offense catcher and an above-average defensive catcher. Yeah. What are the chances they retire Pedroia's number? I would say medium. That's a good point, versatility, but I really don't think they will. Appreciate that, Dave. Thanks. Cora's gone after next year, ain't he? I really don't want to say yes because I think Cora understands how talented this team could be in the next couple of years. The thing that I'm worried about with Alex Cora is that he's not going to be managing forever, and he wants to win while he's managing. So if he doesn't feel like the Red Sox are going to be in a place by the end of 24, because I don't think they sign him past the 2024 season. I think he does get to free agency or gets close to free agency. And I think it's all going to depend on how he feels about the future of this club by the end of the year. If Wilyer, Duran, if all these young core talented players take legit steps forward and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I see where we're going to be in 25, in 26, then maybe he's going to stay. But I just think that he's going, there's a legitimate chance he gets to the end of the year and he's like, well, wait a second here. If I'm only managing for 5 more years and we just finished 72 with 72 wins and everyone you told me was the future of the Red Sox didn't do what they were supposed to do, your development process did not work, I'm moving on. Do you think they signed Montgomery? I don't think that Montgomery is out of the question yet. Oh, yeah, they 100% will versatility, but I don't think he does. Did they change the rule number retirement only if they make the Hall of Fame? I don't think so because Johnny Pesky's number got retired. Coach better? Yeah, it's all Alex Cora's fault, right, Dennis? There's no possible way that it had anything to do with injuries or lack of depth or putting rookies in a bad position, right? No. I don't think so. Cora's iconic as hell as well. Yeah, he is. He's an iconic player. I'm ready for a Tech manager situation. Does Tech want to? Like, if you're Jason Varitek and you're like, I'm finally going to get the chance, like, this is, you know what I mean? If he's going to he didn't turn down the San Francisco job. He didn't get the San Francisco job, right? Would you want this to be your first? Because realistically, you're only going, unless your plan is to manage until you die, basically, you have a small window to cement your legacy. You have a small window to cement your legacy. Baltimore's news puts a fire under our burning house. We're doomed now if we remain a piggy bank for FSG. Yeah, I am curious. This is a absolutely ridiculous conspiracy theory that definitely isn't happening. But I'm curious if the Red Sox were keeping funds together to get that deal done, and then they're like, all right, that deal's done. We're gonna be making so much money off of this. Now we can allocate our funds back into the Red Sox. Right? Is it likely? No. Is it a possibility? I think it's a possibility. Jackson, a member for 4 months. Thank you so much. Didn't even know I was a member for this long. Thank you to everyone that's gifted to me 4 months in a row. Appreciate everyone. Thank you. You think Montgomery lowers his years to 3 years to get signed as time goes by? I think as time gets further on, Jordan Montgomery's likelihood of a 6-7 year deal probably isn't as likely. Who would you want to be the guy? I don't even want to think about it. That's awesome, I love. Glad it's stayed with you. I hope we don't get 11 games over 500 again and then choke games. I'm tired of this happening. I don't want to. Yeah, that third year in a row of that happening would be brutal. It's just a lot of it is injuries, right? That's what sunk us in 22. That's what's pretty much sunk us in 23. It's just injuries, man. It's just the problem has been the depth in the pitching staff. That's really been the problem. Because you had a decent pitching staff through the month of April, May, and June, but you fall apart a little bit, and all of a sudden you don't have anyone to step in. 22 was a perfect example of that, right? You were just brutal. Pitching splits. Corbin as our new GM? Oh, dude, no. I would never be able to be the GM of the Red Sox. Months. There we go. So, yeah, you were pretty solid. June and July, you were below 4 ERA. Even in May, you had a 4.3, which isn't terrible. And then you just fall apart in August and September because you don't have the injuries. You have all the injuries. CEO of the Red Sox? No. Do a video or interview in spring training? I'd love to do that, Dave. I can't take the time off of work though. Tatis would be incredible, yeah. Do you see us getting Dave Roberts if Cora doesn't resign? I have no idea. If Dave Roberts is a free agent, maybe. I don't even know who half these guys are. The casual fan probably doesn't. What's up, Jackson? Casual fan probably isn't super familiar with the roster. I mean, there's to say there's no one on this team worth watching, I don't think is an accurate statement. I think looking at this team and a lot of the players on this team, they're players that could be here for a very long time, right? Tristan Casas, Brian Bayo, Devers obviously going to be here a while. Wilyer Abreu, guys like Cutter, Bayo are all players you should be paying attention to because those could be big players as you get towards the 25, 26 range, right? And I think that's something to keep an eye on. Just because these guys aren't former All-Stars or MVP candidates doesn't mean they're not going to be talented, good players. Stephen Vogt. And then we played the better teams in the end. But I mean, the schedule was pretty balanced in terms of like when we were looking at the 2023 Red Sox schedule, it was pretty balanced in terms of competitive. You had that 2-week stretch where you played Houston, LA, and then Houston again. And that was sort of your crushing point, but it was because you didn't have the pitching depth. Like 4 or 5 of those games, you had a opener. You're not going to beat the Houston Astros, the Dodgers, and the Houston Astros in a 10-game, 11-game series when 5 of those games are started by openers. It's just not happening. Garrett Whitlock going to be a starter. I think Garrett Whitlock is going to try out to be a starter. Like, I think there's going to be a competition in spring training for Houck, Whitlock, and Winkowski for a starting role. I think ultimately it goes to Tanner Houck. Now you have hope? I hope so, Jackson. Could you see Houck and Cutter being sleeper picks have a breakout year? Cutter is definitely, I don't even think he's a sleeper pick. But yeah. I think this team, it could be fun. I think it could be fun. Lil Altuve's a monster. If Roberts is available, that would mean he didn't win with the Dodgers, and that would be a problem. That's a good point, too. My hopes were that we signed Yamamoto, Bellinger, Snell, and trade for Ketel Marte. Also trade for Ever Cabrera. That was my offseason. It didn't happen. I do like the Grissom move. You had a lot. That was high hopes, Jesta. That was really high hopes. Bellinger was never going to happen. You've got too many lefties in your lineup right now. You've got too many people in your outfield right now. Cabrera, I think, might maybe still be on the table. But Yamamoto and Snell, that's like $1 billion, basically. I just want starters, so how could be a bullpen stopper? Yeah, that would be ideal, but you need another starter to do that. Thank you for what you do, sir. Love the show. I appreciate you, Ed. Thank you for coming by. Could you see us doing something at trade deadline? If we're in it, yeah, but who knows if we're going to be in it. Considering the mess buzzing after Kennedy, calling fans liars, do you think, Corbin, that our executives will change the way to communicate and make statements, or will they keep the current mood? That's a good question. I don't think they understand. Like, I truly don't. I think Sam Kennedy somewhat understands. I don't think anyone else in the front office in terms of ownership understands how to communicate to this fan base. I mean, it's just been clear as day for years now that you don't put John Henry on the microphone because he's going to say something stupid, right? That's just how he works. Tom Warner's kind of the same way. I don't think they change a damn thing, right? I don't think they change anything. They're just going to sit there and continue to say, oh, winning fixes everything. Winning fixes everything. Hey, we're still committed, and then do exactly the opposite of what they're saying. So I don't think they're going to change that. I just think that's how they operate. Sign Big Maple back. He is with the Los Angeles Dodgers. If you could find 5 guys that get you through 5 innings, it would be great. Yeah, that would be ideal. Grissom will be interesting if he gets off to a hot start. Could just become an all-star caliber player without realizing it. I really don't think it'll be difficult for Grissom to be a solid player. Honestly. Like, I don't think it will be. I think Grissom's got a lot of talent, and there again, when you're looking at the Red Sox lineup, specifically when you look at the roster position player-wise, I think there's a lot of underrated talent on this team that people are just overlooking because they're not the big names, right? They're not the MVP candidates, they're not the former All-Stars, they're not the $300 million players, but guys like Grissom, guys like Casas, guys like Trevor Story, too, who's kind of in that category as well, Willie Abreu, Tyler O'Neill's in that category of people with immense talent that have the opportunity to be able to showcase that talent and really go after it is pretty high. Who do you think we should draft in the upcoming draft? Jason, to be totally honest with you, I haven't even taken a look. How likely is it that we start the season without a left-handed starter? Right now, I would say fairly likely. Hypothetical question, if the Red Sox ownership were to ever build another Fenway, would you want to be the exact same design with the monster? If you're going to build another stadium, do it completely different. Do you think Duvall will re-sign here? I think there's a pretty decent chance Duvall ends up back here. I think it's possible. I love sports. I've been talking about this a little bit. I think there is some merit to, well, the Red Sox are just sort of waiting out the market, right? Boris is waiting out the market. The Red Sox, every other team is just sitting there saying, all right, we're just going to wait out Boris, basically, right? And I don't think it's some planned conspiracy against with all the owners against Scott Boras. I think it's just straight business. Whoever blinks first in business tends to lose, right? That's just how it works. And I think a lot of teams are implementing that strategy. It could be something Breslow's doing, right? Maybe Breslow is thinking, hey, there's only a couple weeks till spring training. These guys are going to want to start their routines. We just waited out a week or two. We might be able to say, all right, look, you got 1 week left. You want a regular thing. This is what we're willing to give you. And by that point, they're like, all right, give me the deal. I need to get done. I need to do my work. I think that could be a legitimate possibility. The problem is we've heard the exact opposite from Red Sox ownership this entire offseason, right? We heard full throttle. We heard we need high WAR players. Then we heard we need to cut payroll. We need to rely on the youth of this team. We need to focus on the core in the future. And now we're hearing, something like there's still a big move left in it. It's just all over the place, right? All right, Mark, thanks for coming by, my friends. What's up, Bruce? No, I wouldn't want Duvall for more than 1 year. What do you think we'll do with Connor Wong when Kyle Teal comes up? I think we'll end up I think we'll end up just using him as a backup catcher and get rid of Reese McGuire, whoever's backup catcher at the time. Getting full throttle tatted on me. Nice. What do you think Trevor Story's stat line will look like? I think it'll be close to... I don't even know who RSG is, Mike. I think ideally, right, you'd want Trevor Story to get back to what he was in Coors. Now, is that possible? I don't know. What I would want Trevor Story to be at would be his 265, 332, 504, 108 OPS plus career numbers, right? If he can get to that, that's a pretty successful year. And then you take a look at his home run average throughout his season. 27, 24, 37 homers, 35 homers. And you divide that by 8. Shoot. He's averaging around 22 a year, right? If he can give you 22 home runs, a 265 average, 332 on base percentage, 504 slug with a 108 OPS plus and 22 homers, I think it's a solid season. Corbin, who do you want to see out of this Red Sox farm system play this year? I'd love to see some of the pitching prospects start to get some work. Wilkerman Gonzalez, Richard Fitz. Yeah, those are kind of the two guys I would have my eyes on. Hunter Dobbins, obviously now a big Red Sea Radio or big Red Sea Radio prospect to watch. How do I feel about the Turner deal? I hate that he's with the Blue Jays. I don't think it sinks the Red Sox. I think overall his production's replaceable. His intangibles are going to be really hard to replace. Duvall to the Blue Jays? Sorry. You mean Turner to the Blue Jays? Duvall is certainly not signing with the Blue Jays now. That would make quite literally no sense. He can hit nukes. Yeah, Wong's got a lot of power. I don't understand the Story signing if this was the ownership's plan to not spend until the prospects were called up, because I don't think this was always the plan. Who will be the Red Sox leader in the clubhouse? It'll be Tristan Casas and Trevor Story. They've been for I don't even know how long. A long time. This offseason, they've been heralded as the Red Sox new leaders, so I think it'll be them. Watching you from Brazil. Nice content. I appreciate you stopping by, Leonardo. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm not great with reading names out. You think it changed when Bloom was fired? From what I understand, Bloom was ready to spend. Bloom was ready to go in, and they said, all right, thank you, no thank you, we're good, right? So you bring in Breslow, who I got to assume also wanted to make some big adjustments, but got here and said, hey, wait a second, here's what we could do under this budget if we wait until this year, right? And that, to me, is when things started to shift a little bit. I also think when they got heavily outbid for Yamamoto and realized how poorly they did in that, it changed their outlook as well. Thoughts on Slayton from the Rule 5? I think Slayton could be a really productive member of the bullpen. People seem to really like his fastball, and I think it was curveball. So he'll be someone that's going to have to be on the roster. Well, it doesn't have to be, right? But is someone who either has to be on the roster or has to be moved on from. But he had a really good 2023. He didn't do well in the fall league, but he did well in 2023. 287, 108 ERA in just 5 games, but still in AAA towards the end of the year. Really high strikeout numbers, kind of high walk rate. He could be a really interesting piece. How many games do you see this team winning this year? Right now, I would say 80 to 82. I'm happy Costas is becoming a leader so young. I love it. I love Costas. I think making him the face of the team would be really smart. You think the group would have given Breslow his one big pickup and they didn't even do that? Yeah. You think we really went over 300 for Yamamoto? No, I don't. I think maybe they got close to 300 with the buyout you got to pay for him, but I don't think their offer, like what he would be paid year to year, would be was close. You think they should maybe keep Jansen, make it a short game considering the lack of starting pitching they have? They could. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I also wouldn't be. Actually, you know what? I would be kind of surprised if that's the way they went. They just said, F it. We don't want guys with innings. We just want guys, right? I think it'd be a bad way to go about it. I mean, there's a possibility, right? There is a possibility that happens, but I think it'd be a really bad way to go about it. Imagine we win 95 games and go to the ALCS after everything that has happened. Yeah. That's what I keep saying. Like there is a chance. Like, it's baseball, right? Anything can happen. Yeah, I agree, Dill. That's probably probably the main reason they got Lucas Giolito. I'm just saying, like, I think there are likelihoods that they're trying to do everything right now, to be honest with you. Just got here. Any news on Montgomery? No. No new news on Montgomery. Just that his market, I think everyone's just sort of waiting out his market. I think that's sort of what's happening, right? Everyone's just sort of waiting it out. When you spend $350 million, you can't get more than what you pay for. Meaning, if he wins a Cy Young, so what? You paid for that. Anything less is underachieving, so those contracts never work out year after. The difference is, right, normally those $300+ million contracts go to someone close to 30. This dude's 25 years old. With some of the best stuff we've ever seen from Japan or anyone in baseball, right? There's a good chance that this works out. I heard that Jansen asked to be traded because he doesn't like the direction the team is going. Bruce, I don't know where you heard that. No chance we win 95. I mean, yeah, probably not. But I'm just saying it's baseball. Anything can happen. Think wild card's a possibility. I don't think it's out of the realm, right? I think there are a lot of people already writing the team off. I think you've got a lot of room for error in your lineup because of the possibility of how deep it is. The problem is you have no room for error in your rotation, right? That's sort of exactly the problem. You have no room for error in your rotation. So if everything goes well, yeah, this could be a playoff team. The problem is everything has to go well. And we've seen over the last 2 years, normally things don't always go very well. Who's your pick for most improved surprising guy this year? Most improved, surprising. Does Trevor Story really count? Because I think Trevor Story is going to surprise a lot of people. Tyler O'Neill is who I'll go with, Devin. Is it possible that Bush was just so bad, Red Sox underperformed pitching-wise under Bailey? It's possible. I don't know how super likely it is, but it's possible. Where is Slayton from? Is he from our farm, or did we trade for him? We picked him up in the Rule 5 draft. I don't even... All right, Mike. Sure. Just tired of all these free agent trade possibilities being discussed. Then hearing the Red Sox went elsewhere, or hearing they went elsewhere. This has been the most disappointing offseason ever for Red Sox fans. Ever seems like a bit of a stretch. Definitely not a good one. I don't know about ever. I wanted to spend, but if we didn't, let's go all young like Atlanta and get this group going. Can't just bring everyone up though. If we land a guy like Monty, the wild card is a possibility. I think even if you don't get Monty just because it's baseball, the wild card's a possibility. Getting Monty makes it much more realistic. If the Red Sox win the World Series this year, it'll be Craig Breslow's ring. If they win in any futures year, it'll be Chaim Bloom's ring. I guess. I think people, like, I always hate the idea that each prospect is attached to a certain GM, when in all reality, you could be drafted by someone, but the development, the reason you're able to perform the way you're performing at the major league level was something implemented by someone completely else, right? It's still the GM's job, or the CFO or CEO or whatever the hell he is, right? It's his job to get these prospects to the major leagues, regardless of whether or not you drafted them. So I don't agree with that. Could Rafaela make the club out of spring training? I don't think he will. And the reason I don't think Rafaela make the club out of spring training is because they got Tyler O'Neill. They're still looking at Adam Duvall, right? They've got Rob Refsnyder still on the roster. You've got a bunch of different people. There's just not really any room for, say, Don Rafaela. Unless he, like, absolutely crushes spring training. I mean, crushes it. And a guy like O'Neill doesn't. Or, because you can't really, the problem is you can't exactly send Tyler O'Neill to AAA unless he's injured. You can't exactly send Jaron Duran to AAA. I think he's got maybe one more option. I kind of doubt it, though. He got up and down a lot. The only one you could send is Wilyer Abreu. So maybe, but I don't think it's likely. Corbin, in your opinion, can Pivetta be a starter? He was at the end of the season. Yeah, I think Pivetta can be a starter. I think Lou Merlone talked about it a lot. But his slider looks really good at the end of the year. He changed his slider, and he learned that slider from, if you remember my winter weekend video, for those of you that watched it, I asked Nick Pivetta about his new slider called the Whirly Bird. It's a slider he learned from Chris Martin, who had a fantastic slider last year, right? And it was something that was working really well. If he adds that to his arsenal, and that's why he was able to be productive at the end of the year, I think, yeah, he could be a starter next year for sure. And is stretching out Winkowski the right move? It's not a bad move. Right? Because at the end of the day, even if he doesn't end up in your rotation, it's not going to affect the way he pitches in the bullpen. So might as well stretch him out just in case. And if he doesn't, then great. Put him back in the bullpen, right? There's no real reason not to. Who backs up Devers Casas this year? Does Dahlbeck have to make the team? No, because you could do Pablo Reyes for third. You could do Rob Refsnyder for first. You don't have to have Bobby Dahlbeck, although I think right now they would have Bobby Dahlbeck. Is Pablo Reyes still on the team? Yeah, he is. Is Soler more of an option now with Turner off the board? I would say it makes him possibly more available, Trevor. Whether or not that's more of an option for the Red Sox, I just don't know. I think Soler's asking more than what the Red Sox are willing to spend, which is an entirely different conversation, right? But I think it makes him more available. I don't know if it makes him a better option. If Trevor Story gets injured, what's the chance that Marcelo debuts? Probably small. I guess it would depend on when he got injured and how long he was injured for. But yeah, I don't think it's very big. What are your thoughts on the Red Sox going after Roki Sasaki when he's posted from the MPB? All in. The problem is, right, it's not going to be – this might actually be a benefit to the Red Sox, and now with the way they're operating, it's not going to be a money thing. It's going to be a signing bonus maybe, but everyone's going to be offering him the same amount of money because he's an international prospect technically, not an international free agent. So he's limited in the amount he can make. It's going to be about how they sell the team, and that's going to be really tough if they don't do well this year and they don't have any true, like, hey, this is what we're going to look like in 25, 28, whatever. What's up, TD? Trade Marcel for Bobby Witt Jr.? Yeah, that'll never happen. Duran, O'Neill, Yoshida, Refsnyder, Abreu, and maybe Duvall. I don't think the guys with options will make it out of spring training. I think Abreu will. Because there is room for him. And you do have the spot in DH. Okay, so you break that down a little bit. Duran, O'Neill, Yoshida, Refsnyder, Rafael Abreu, and maybe Duvall. Refsnyder is not going to be an everyday player. O'Neill's probably not going to be an everyday player. So that brings it down to Duran, Yoshida, Rafaela, Abreu, and Duvall. Now you've got room in the DH spot, so that now brings you down to, let's say Duvall's an everyday DH. That's Duran, Yoshida, Rafaela, Abreu. You probably can't fit all four of those on the roster, so you either option Abreu or Rafaela, and I think it just depends on which one they think will be bigger impact immediately. Merlone said Whitlock got jacked this season. Maybe they'll make him a starter. It's possible, man. It's possible. What does stretching out mean in January when guys pitch in Martin? Aren't they capped at like 50 pitches? Yeah, it's just sort of it's looking at, how can I maintain velocity up until a certain pitch limit, right? What do I have to do for my body to get to that point? It's a lot of strategizing. How do I attack players for this certain amount of time? How do I get through the third time through a lineup? Stuff like that. It's much more than, I'm just going to throw 75 pitches instead of 50. Dodgers are getting Sasaki. Who knows who's getting Sasaki? Reyes goes to second base. I would, honestly, versatility, I would say Valdez gets the call before Reyes is an everyday second baseman. Although that does mess up. I don't know. Will the Red Sox flop because they're off season? I don't think this offseason is certainly not making it easier, right? The offseason is certainly not making it easier to be successful this season. I don't think Red Sox players aren't sitting there. Here's the difference, right? We sit here and we say ownership is given up, this team's going to suck. Players aren't sitting there saying ownership is given up, I'm going to suck, right? That's just not how it works. They have their individual reasons for wanting to play well. Most of these guys are young, looking to get paid. They've got their unity reasons. Hey, everyone in the world thinks we're going to suck. Our own boss thinks we're going to suck. Let's prove them all wrong, right? So I don't think it necessarily means that the Red Sox are going to flop this season. I specifically don't think it means that the Red Sox players are going to say, we'll just try again in 25 and 26 on opening day in 24, right? I don't think it necessarily does. Okay, TD. When pitchers stretch out, it's more about metering their output. Yeah. I don't think anyone actually wants him in the rotation, Evan. I haven't seen anyone say, oh, yeah, let's get Martin in, or let's get Winkowski in there. All right, Dennis, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Here's the following Saturday. I'll have to remember that. What do you think the OD bullpen looks like? Seems like more quality arms than spots. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of competition for bullpen spots. I think a couple guys to keep an eye on: Chris Murphy, Brandon Walter, Zach Kelly, Luis Guerrero. There's a couple of non-roster invitees. I think a lot of their big ones are set. But I think there's going to be a lot of competition for those sort of back end of the roster positions, which is going to make spring training really interesting. Think the Red Sox should try and get Ohtani? I think that boat sailed. TD, I can't even translate that one, dude. Corbin, I thinking players and Uma know how. Heap this organization. Ohtani, Zach, how? Ownership is only playing for their other paychecks. Sorry, I am so fed up with organization is not even funny. I'm just trying to figure out what you mean. If Story gets hurt, put Meyer at shortstop, keep Grissom at second. Meyer's not going to be ready. It depends on when he gets hurt, right? Does he get hurt in August or does he get hurt in May? Yeah, they're all going to play hard, and that could lead to something. What are your thoughts on the Red Sox checking in on Matt Barnes? I don't know if that's actually happening. I think players in core are only playing for their next paycheck. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good reason to play, right? It's a pretty good reason to play, especially if you're young and newly in the league. But I don't think that's the only reason they're going to be playing. Alex Cora does a good job of creating a common goal, and I think this year's common goal will be, hey, everyone, no one believes in you. Not a single person in the world believes in you. It's time to believe in yourselves, right? Who else beside Valdez is ready or close to ready? I mean, Cedon, I would put in that category. In terms of prospects, your top three are probably a ways away. Not a ways, but away, right? Miguel Blaze is a long while away. Cedon is close to ready. Nick York is close to ready. Williard technically counts still. He's probably close to ready. Richard Fitz, close to ready. You get lucky. Chase Midroth, Nathan Hickey, Blaze, possibly. More realistically, probably not. Luis Guerrero, the reliever. Brian Mata has to be ready. There's a few. Any preseason predictions as of now? Record, playoff push, etc. I think where they're at right now, Zach, optimistically, right, the most optimistic I possibly be, 84, 85 wins. I'd say realistically 80, 82 wins. Yeah. Any experiences you'd like to add in that you left out of Winter Weekend video? No, I recorded everything, man. Anything I did, I made sure it was on camera for you guys. So I don't think I missed anything. The only thing I wish I did a little bit more was try and talk to people. Like, a lot of what I was doing was recording panels and stuff, and so I missed out on the opportunity to actually like record like with interviews with people. I would have loved to have talked to more fans. I just wasn't able to do that. So that's one thing I regret, but no, I wouldn't say. Do you see Cease actually being moved? No, I don't. I think the price is too high. Why do people think Story's injury prone? He had an injury in Colorado. He played through it in Boston, got shut down for a heel injury, and had surgery on Colorado. Injury and now back. It's because it's been, ever since he signed with the Red Sox, which is what a lot of people know, right? A lot of people don't, especially, you work a 9 to 5, you catch a Red Sox game 3 days a week. You're not digging into Trevor Story's baseball reference page. You're just looking at, hey, Trevor Story's been here for 2 years. He's played a total of a half season, right? That's what you're paying attention to. So it looks like he's more injury prone than he actually is, although he has had some injuries in the past. Yeah, Brian, I think you're right. Raphael in a low leverage 40-man roster and a prospect to San Diego for Drew Thorpe. For God's sakes, Corbin, don't put on camera. What? Should rebuild. I was actually thinking about that today, Prodigy. I think that'd be a ton of fun. Starting pitcher, left fielder, and right fielder. He just got drafted with the Yankees. You said the Padres. Oh, he just got traded to the Padres. That's right. He's really good. I don't think that'll happen, though. When do you think we could see Blaze, and what do you think his production could look like? I think realistically, the problem is finding room for Blaze, right? Blaze is a first baseman and third baseman. Those are like the two positions on the team that are completely covered for the foreseeable future. So unless they convert him, even if they convert him into an outfielder, there's still not room, right? So that's the problem with Blaze. Realistically, if there was no blockage, I'd say by the end of 25, you'd see him come up. I just don't know with the blockage when and if he will. I think production-wise, what I could see, I could see like 230s, 240s average with about 15 to 20 home runs a year. All three of their top prospects are left-handed. Do you think one gets traded, or do they stick with left-handed dominant lineup? I think they'll stick with it. I think they would have traded him by now. I think they have to move Cease before the season starts because the price will go down, and he's waiting on Snell and Monty. Could be. I just think the asking price is absurd. Thanks for stopping by, Evan. I appreciate it. It's just strange that people think he's fragile. Yeah. I don't think he's fragile. I think he's had some bad lucks. They are going to suck. Who's going to suck? What's up, Jay? Thoughts on Vladdy being on the MLB The Show cover? I don't mind it. I'm not a huge, I love MLB The Show. I'm not huge, unless it's the collector's editions like Big Papi or Devers or something. I don't really care who's on the cover at the end of the day. Although I did think it was a bit of a strange choice. They had the opportunity to put on, Soto, Mookie, Acuna, and I know there's a rule that if you are on the cover of any baseball video game, including mobile apps, you can't be on another one for 3 years. So I think that had a big role in it. And I think Vladdy is a young, talented star that's going to bring in clicks. But, yeah, it was weird. Corbin, all this organization has to do is get Monty and Soler, and the fans will be back. All they need is an ace and number 4 hitter. Possibly. Oh, thank you so much, Dennis. I appreciate that. We are getting Monty and Soler. Oh, I like that, depressed Red Sox fan. That sort of sentence really goes against your name. If Duvall doesn't resign, move Devers to permanent DH, free up logjam at third, have 2 or 3 third basemen up. I just think that's too much movement. And I also don't think you should be putting your $300 million player at third base at 27 years old. Yeah, that's pretty much the answer, Troy. They don't do well drafting or signing international free agent arms. They just never have. Did you see the report that Snell asked the Yankees for 9 years, 270? I mean, yeah, I saw that. It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's true. If we do something, I'll change the name. I like that. Maybe I'll do that. Depressed Red Sea Radio. I appreciate that, Jimmy. And yeah, ownership isn't going to spend money, but listen, here's the way I'm looking at it, right? Are the odds against the Sox? Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Am I going to root for the Red Sox? Am I going to say, oh, this is a last place team until they're a last place team? No. Because I want this team to win. And to be honest with you, I've never cared so much about the ownership of this team. I really haven't, right? I care about the players on the team, and I understand that, they don't have legit superstar talent, but they have a lot of young, talented players who could develop into superstars, and I want those guys to do well. So I'm going to support the Sox. I'm going to keep talking about the Sox. Force it down your throats. Montiel signing Jordan Montgomery would literally, I don't even know if Red Sox fans would be excited or if Red Sox fans would just finally be like, yes, it's about goddamn time. Now let's get going, right? I don't know if it's even excitement anymore or if it's just, all right, finally let's do it. Sox haven't drafted a pitcher in the first 3 rounds in the last 4 years. Yeah. Do you agree with what Robbie Hyde said that Bayo's like Stroman? I think right now it's a good comparison, but I think Bayo could develop a lot of different ways. Right? Comparing them, it makes somewhat sense why. I agree. I think it makes sense when you look at it from where Bayo's pitching right now, his build, everything. It makes sense why you'd compare him to Marcus Stroman, but his fastball's a little bit stronger. He's got more potential put out stuff. He just hasn't utilized it yet. Yeah, TD. Look, dude. I know they're cheap. I get it. I would drink for the first time in 10 years. Now, you don't want to break that streak, Mike. Yeah, Troy, I mean, that's fine, but I didn't get into being a Red Sox fan to care about the business of ownership, right? I got into being a Red Sox fan because I love the game and I love the players. So if that's, if that's the core of being a baseball fan, that's the core of being a baseball fan. So if you're not watching, like, I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words, right? I just think, yeah, I don't know how to put it into words. Like, even the people who are very down on the Red Sox, like more down than anyone else is, they're still going to watch these games because that's just what it is. You are a Red Sox fan. You are not a John Henry fan. You're not a FSG fan. You're a Red Sox fan who wants the players because the players did nothing. The players don't control how much money is spent during the offseason. The players control how they perform on the field to their best ability, not to the best ability of the team, but to the ability of themselves. And these are young kids who are trying to make their way in Major League Baseball. Kluber's not going to sign anywhere, Benji. Clevenger, I have no idea, man. I don't know if Clevenger will get signed. It'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting. Sorry. I had to take a drink of water. Wandy Peralta? I'm honestly kind of surprised it's taking so long. Did Peralta have some like off-field issues last year? I don't even remember. Because he's been really good for years now. Cognac in Massachusetts? I think so. What's the Rajon Rondo situation? I haven't seen it. Chapman, the third baseman, and Cody Bellinger. I think Bellinger will go back to the Blue Jays, and I think Matt Chapman will end up with the Giants. Yeah, TD, I'm going to be totally honest with you, dude. I don't care. Like, I can critique the Red Sox ownership all I want. They're not going to change what they're doing because a couple of people aren't going to games, right? If they have a plan, they're going to stick to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I've done for the last 20 years. And let's support the players on this team. I don't care if you think I'm getting sucked in or you think I'm enabling mediocrity. I just don't. And I know that's a weird thing to say because I've been making videos about how bad the ownership is, and I'm going to continue to critique them, and if they're bad, I'm going to say that they are bad, That doesn't change that. At the end of the day, I'm a Red Sox fan. Unban Jake Riley. No, I muted Jake Riley. Enough was enough with the Bauer stuff. He thought it was funny. It was kind of funny for like a second. Wasn't funny anymore. They found, oh, geez. I didn't see that about Rondo. You think Breslow doesn't believe in the free agent class prices outside Giolito and Yamamoto, and that's why there's no movement? I don't know if a lot of people, honestly, I don't know if a lot of teams are in on the free agent prices. I think a lot of teams are saying, hey, wait a second here. I don't want to pay that for this guy. I honestly don't know, Benji. The Montas deal is crazy. Yeah. So right now, how do I see the lineup measuring up? Like actual lineup itself? With the team they have right now, I would say Duran leads off. Devers hits second. Story hits third. Massa hits fourth. Then either O'Neal or maybe fourth. Tristan Casas fifth. Either O'Neal or Grissom sixth. I would say, let's just say Grissom for now. 7, Abreu. 8, Abreu. Who am I missing? Oh, DH, Abreu, O'Neal, Wong. This is my therapy, Dr. Corbin. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. No, I don't want Trevor Bauer. I'm ignoring Trevor Bauer comments from now on. We talk about him every single stream. I can't do it anymore. I think that's why the Stromans are signing before the Snells, because the money is crazy. Yeah, I don't think anyone predicted that Marcus Stroman would sign before Blake Snell or Montgomery. I certainly don't think anyone thought Kenta Maeda would, or who's the other guy that went to St. Louis? Who's another guy? Didn't Lance Lynn go back there? That was good, though. FSG needs to focus on Boston alone, not Liverpool, not the Penguins, not $300 partner. Yeah, that'd be great, but they're not going to do that. Hey, Corbin, I saw you watch football this weekend. Who do you have in the Super Bowl? Am I betting on the games? Yeah, I am betting on the games. Super Bowl, it's like watching the Patriots. Right? Every year it's always us. Someone's going to be able to take down the Kansas City Chiefs. They just don't have built up what this other team has built up. And they go in and they wipe the floor with them, or they do a miraculous thing to win. It's like watching the Patriots with Brady, Gronk, Edelman, Amendola, Welker, right? It's just that era. So I don't know, man. I can't bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs. But yeah, I do bet on the games. Think Taylor Swift will catch the winning touchdown pass to tie the game, and then they'll kick it, and then she'll kick it, actually. To not care about this Super Bowl. It's kind of a bad Super Bowl for Patriots fans, right? Because if the 49ers win, they tie the Patriots in all-time Super Bowls. And if the Chiefs win, we're going to be getting Mahomes-Brady comparisons for the rest of time. I try not to get upset about the free agent fans. Some of us just do not want to be treated like cash cows by FSG. I do not try and convince anyone how they should spend their money. It's fair, don't. What, TD? Yeah, I miss it too, Queen. That'd be awesome. It was so awesome. Do I watch New Heights? My favorite. I watched the Edelman stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that was a heartbreaking way to lose last year. I got a friend that's a Buffalo Bills fan. I'm starting to. Back when we were younger, it was fun, right? Because the Patriots just crushed them. Now the Patriots aren't involved. I'm starting to feel bad for them. I also, in all fairness, the Taylor Swift stuff, I do feel really bad for her, right? She's not going there for the publicity. She's going there just to watch the game and support her boyfriend, and it's been turned into mayhem. People are crushing her for it. People are, the NFL's making it a marketing ploy. Like that can't be fun to be that famous where anything you do ends up becoming a marketing ploy for where you are. It just isn't. That just gets really frustrating. And I do feel bad for her because none of it's her fault, Definitely don't feel bad for her. What is it? How is it her fault any of this has happened? Like, I don't understand how you guys. Oh, it works for sure, Prodigy. That's not what I'm saying, but I just like she's not trying to market. She's not trying to be a distraction. She's trying to go. Yeah, Luca, that's funny. The Swifties are annoying though. Yeah, but then don't interact with them. I don't understand. Are you actually getting punched in the face by Swifties every time you go? You don't think she loves publicity? No, dude. That's such a weird thing to assume of someone. It's a weird thing to sit there and say, "Oh, Taylor's just doing this for the attention." You know what I mean? That. Clearly, if she was going for the attention, there'd be a post. She would post herself on Instagram. She would advertise where she is, what she's wearing. No, she just gets photographed and that gets put everywhere. She can't control that. The Swifties say she put okay, then just say no, they didn't, and move on. It doesn't need to be this big of a deal. The NFL has made it a big deal because they've made, $300 million from the Kansas City Chiefs this year because of Taylor Swift. That's why they're making it a big deal. But it's not Taylor walking in there and being like, "Oh, I'm here." You know what I mean? She's just trying to go. Am I watching the Celtics? Nah, man. I wish I was, but on the offseason, I'm just kind of drained. MLB needs a free agent signing limit. That should be something they talk about in the next CBO agreement, man. Collective bargaining agreement. CBA. The beauty gritty is that you don't have to think about it, right? That's why I don't get why anyone's upset. Because if you don't like it, you just don't have to watch it. Oh no, she's on the TV screen for 2 seconds after they score a touchdown. Yeah, but going back to baseball, is my girlfriend a fan of Taylor Swift? She is, yeah. They do. I think it would be really beneficial for baseball to have a free agent signing period where it opens up at a certain point and it closes at a certain point as well. I think that would make absolutely perfect sense. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, Depressed. I don't think you're wrong at all. They should treat us better. NPB. I haven't watched many NPB games. Maybe we should get into it. I think that you do not think Swift and NFL have a money agreement to show her every week? No, I don't. I 1,000% do not. Chiefs will win the Super Bowl? I agree. I think they will. Yeah, that's the Taylor Swift effect. Yeah, I don't know. I want Red Sox. I want Red Sox news so badly, dude. So badly. That's all I want. Like, is that too much to ask for? I think it might be at this point. Genuinely. I was hoping maybe we'd get something tonight. It looked like there might have been something brewing this weekend that didn't get through. Maybe they'll sign JD Martinez. JD Martinez doesn't really make a ton of sense. TD, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. There's no way. There's no way it's a marketing ploy. Just because someone saw a good opportunity and took advantage of it does not mean there's some giant conspiracy behind it. Have I seen the MLB Show 24 cover? Yeah, I think it looks kind of cool. How many premier free agents do you think will be on the couch when spring training starts? Not a lot. I think over the next couple of weeks, people will start to be. I think a lot of premier free agents are going to start to sign because it messes with your routine, right? And yeah, I get it. You know, I get it. You want to make the extra $25 million or whatever it is on your deal, but eventually, right, you got to go out there and you got to perform, and that's part of your routine is getting ready during spring training. So I think we'll start to see people sign up. Uh, 1,000% down with that, TD, because that won't come out. As 2006, Gritty, he was on the MLB Show. Yeah, I really think this offseason has been terrible for baseball. You had Shohei and you had Yamamoto at what? That was in December, right? Early December, because I remember not early December, but it's been over a month, basically, right? And I just think they're not helping themselves in relevancy. I appreciate it, Jay. Yeah, it's my birthday Sunday. Thank you. Yeah, but it's been so slow. There has been all these terrible rumors that don't start, right? That just go nowhere, and it ruins the credibility of people. So you just sit there and it's like, well, what the hell's going on? So I don't know. It's just been such a bad offseason for. I mean, Red Sox fans, really, it's been really bad. But for MLB in general, it's been a rough offseason. People are fed up with rumors. People are fed up with proposed trades. They just want to know what's happening. Bring in Cabrera. Edward Cabrera is still someone I'm holding out hope for. I really think he has a high ceiling, especially if he can get with Bailey. I had so much hope they would get Yamamoto. Yeah, so did I. Yeah, Dill, that would be fantastic. I don't even see him anymore. Twitter X has gotten out of hand with the rumors and fake news. Yeah. When does new ownership take over the Orioles? There hasn't been a date set, so it's kind of up to both parties to figure out when the actual sale's finalized. I think it's sort of a verbal agreement. The Marlins haven't spent any money yet. Sure, this offseason has been bad for Scott Boras' reputation, right? That was pretty good, Mike. I'll give it to you. Yeah, it does have to be approved by all the owners as well. So it'll probably take some time. My guess is they'll do it at the end of this season. Sure, the offseason. Oh, I just read that. I think, Evan, you're kind of right. It depends on what they end up getting, right? If say, I don't know, they all end up like, I think Bellinger will be fine. Is Chapman a Boras agent? I don't even remember if Chapman's a Boras agent. Does anyone know off the top of their head if Chapman's a Boras agent? I don't think he is. Let me see. Oh, he is, yeah. So Chapman, Bellinger, Montgomery, Snell are all Boris clients, and those are the four, basically the top four free agents left on the open market, give or take, right? Yeah, Hoskins is another one, but Hoskins signed with the Brewers. So the top four, give or take, left on the market are all Boris. It depends on what they end up doing, right? If this ends up working out really well, it could be a problem for baseball, right? If Boris has figured out, hey, which he already kind of has, right? If he just says, hey, if we just wait it out as long as humanly possible, eventually these teams are going to break because they need to figure out the rest of their roster going into spring training. It could look really good. If they go into 2024 and Boris has Montgomery on a 2-year deal, Snell on a 1-year deal, Chapman on a 3-year deal, and Bellinger on a 4-year deal, and everyone's like, well, what the heck is going on here? Then, yeah, I guess it could look bad. I still think if you put the MLB free agent signing period from like November to the end of January 15th, things would go a lot faster. Where does Oakland play after the season? Did they not get approved for Las Vegas? I thought I saw that somewhere. I could be wrong. I heard Cooper's in the mix too. Garrett Cooper was someone that Chris Cotillo mentioned sort of offhanded. It wasn't someone that had been confirmed to have been talked to. It was just sort of a, hey, this is a guy that could fit. If he could give you what he gave you from 2019 to 2022, which was a 115 OPS plus, 274 batting average, 350 on base percentage, which is pretty good. Not a lot of home runs in there. Solid slug. Could be a decent piece, but oh, that's so funny. So the A's, where are they going to play? Where are they going to play? That's going to be hilarious. I don't know where they play. It'd be funny if they like split time with another team. If they like split time with the Giants or something. Or maybe they just play away games. Imagine that, a full season of away games would be wild. Yeah, it'll probably be a AAA affiliate. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. The AAAs, it's a good name to call them. They could play. Imagine they just traveled around the country in AAA parks. It'd probably be pretty decent in terms of like value for Major League Baseball because they would get like, you would get like A's Yankees in Omaha, Nebraska. You know, it'd probably be pretty decent for Major League Baseball if they were just the traveling A's and they just did AAA ballparks. Definitely would not be fun for teams. Definitely imagine being like, oh, we gotta, you know, our season's on the line. We got a homestand in New York, and then we got to go out to Tuscaloosa for 4 games. That'd be ridiculous. Yeah, I heard Buffalo's was pretty fun when the Blue Jays were in town. Or Little League parks. Imagine a full MLB team on like a Westwood Middle School Little League park. That'd be dangerous. People would die. So probably not happening, Mike. But it would be kind of funny. They should do a thing where once per season they play a season at their AAA stadium, their big league stadium. I wouldn't love that. Tuscaloosa. What did I say? Is Fujinami worth taking a flyer on? I mean, the problem is it's already pretty much been established he's not going to be a starting pitcher, right? So he's probably going to be a bullpen arm. And the problem with that is you have a ton of bullpen arms, a ton, right? The strikeout rate is there. It's just the walk rate is pretty bad. and the whip isn't exactly fantastic, right? If he could get that down, he could be fairly decent. It's clear that he's not going to be a starter, and you already have so many bullpen people. It might be tough to take a flyer on him, and I don't think you can just start him. I don't think you could just start him in AAA or something. I think he needs to be with the big league club. I could be wrong, but I don't think he has any options or anything like that. Yeah, he just doesn't have control with a U.S. ball. But at the same time, too, it's like, Fujin. There we go. So he does have 3 options, so that could be something the Red Sox might be interested in. If you take, again, the skills are kind of there. His expected ERA was 4.80. His actual ERA was 7.18, right? His projections next year, not great. They have him around, Zips has him around a 5. So Fujinami would be an interesting pickup. I just don't know if the Red Sox have room for him. He's already 29. Maybe he made the wrong decision coming over. How was he in NPB? I don't even know. Yeah, it's all about his control. Walk rate was... What the heck is his walk rate? Oh, 12.6% is not great, right? His strikeout to walk rate was 10.6. Yeah. There's just nothing to super excite me about it. He was up and down in NPB. Interesting. Do I play fantasy baseball? I did last year, and then I just totally forgot about it because I got so wrapped up. I just don't have time during the season to do that, to be honest with you. I just don't have the time. Chad, I'm going so insane that there's no baseball news that I just sit here and once a night I'll put my phone on Do Not Disturb and then just turn around and not think about it for an hour in hopes that I miss something. That's where I'm at with baseball news right now. I'm just begging. I'm begging the universe. What do I think about Brandon Woodruff? I love the idea of Woodruff. I think if you get it for a 2-year deal, especially when we see the Corbin who cusses on Twitter, when there's something I'm really mad about, I cuss on Twitter. Yeah. I would have to do Woodruff on a 3-year deal. That's what I would have to do. And the last year being essentially a team option. Because, man, if you could get a healthy Brandon Woodruff, there's a reason teams aren't signing him, and that's what scares me. But if you could get him on that 2-year deal, and he can give you even like 20, 25 games at a 3.6 or a 2.28 or a 3.05. Like his career's a 3.10 with a 1.37 ERA plus. What do I think it'll take? I think it's something more than Tommy John. I think there's a reason teams are avoiding him. I think it'd be, in my opinion, if to make it worth it, I would do 3 years, like 14 or 15 million a year. Yeah, I agree with that versatility. But if your plan is to build towards that 2026 window, what's up, Patriots GOAT? Build towards that window. Then 2026, you get a healthy Brandon Woodruff. That's prime, right? That's prime. I don't know. We're in a lull for MLB. Just wait 3 weeks. It'll be insane. I hope so. Do I not cuss often? I don't cuss a lot in my videos. No. Thanks a lot, Evan. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting your dad to be a subscriber too. Means a lot to me. No, I don't cuss in my videos for a couple of reasons. The first is that I want everyone to be able to have the latest news and information about the Red Sox, right? It limits your audience if you swear a lot. The second reason is because it's a lot easier for YouTube to push your video when there's no swearing than when there isn't. So that was the main reason I didn't. So that's why I don't swear in YouTube videos, for those of you who are wondering. I've only ever sworn in, I think, 1 or 2 videos on this channel. One of them being the Xander Bogaerts when he left. Do you think we're going to get Montgomery? Rocket Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I think as we get closer to spring training, I think the Red Sox odds are go up. But I don't think it'll ever be in a position like I don't think Jordan Montgomery's market right now is crazy. I think it might be the Rangers, the Red Sox, and a mystery team or 2, right? The Rangers right now have a TV deal that they don't know where their money's coming from in terms of TV, which is a big source of income next year. After 2024, they don't know where that's coming from, so they're probably pretty hesitant to say we're going to commit this amount of money before they even know where they're going to be making their money off of. Which basically just leaves the Red Sox. So I think the closer we get to spring training, the better the odds are for the Red Sox to do that. The question is, will they be willing to do that? I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever be willing to do that. And I think it'll end up coming down to years. I don't think it'll be an AAV thing. But I think it'll come down to years. Yeah, I saw that, Mike. I mean, it's not, unless something like, glad you like him, Zachary. Thank you. Yeah, it's not something I'm like super excited about. Ryan Stanek. I think the only way they actually sign him is if they trade Kenley. Red Sox could trade for Nick Lodolo and Matt McClain. That'd be incredible. I don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah, that's true, Peter. Julio Urias? God, no. God to the no. Rangers deal only worth $100 million. Really? They're getting paid that little? Still, I think that's sort of what's holding them back right now. That's a good point, Mike. That's a good point. When there's nothing else to talk about, some news becomes big news. Problem is, on this channel, people are just done talking about the possibilities. Like the videos I make about the Red Sox being interested in people, no one cares. Just because we've heard it a million times, right? I'm sick of looking at it, researching it just for them to sign with the Dodgers or the Blue Jays or the Brewers or anywhere else, right? How about Isaac Paredes? I would be interested in Isaac. The problem is you would have to give things to the Tampa Bay Rays, and that makes me super nervous. That makes me super nervous. He's got 4 more years left to control. He had a fantastic season in the 2 years he played with the Tampa Bay Rays. He'd be great as a DH option. He'd be a great DH option. Boston Bargain Hunters. But I would just be so scared of what you'd have to give up to Tampa to get that. Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie Gore would be an interesting one to take a look at. I don't know if that's someone that the Nationals would want to give up, though, to be honest with you, Nick. Like the Nationals are trying to build fully from within, kind of like the Red Sox are right now a little bit, right? And I don't think they'll give away the guy that's going to be. They did get fleeced for Nathaniel Lowe, but Super Bowl prediction, I think the Chiefs win. All right, the Rays. Let me see. Who's their best player? Isaac Paredes is their most valuable player. To get him onto the Red Sox, it'd be about $70 million worth of value. So they'd probably ask for one of your top three, Marcelo, Roman, Duran, Bayo, or Casas, which you aren't going to give him. You'd probably have to give him like Miguel Blaze, Cedar Rafaela, and Nick York, which wouldn't even be enough either. Yeah, Isaac would be great, but trade for Cedric Mullin, an outfielder from AAA to a AA pitcher. Cedric Mullins, again, that's the same sort of concept where I'd be nervous trading him to an already really good Orioles team and adding in, because what would it take to get Mullins? Probably not a ton, but it still definitely takes something of value. Cedric's worth 26. So again, you take a look at it, and especially with a new ownership, they might want to hold on to these guys that are bringing in money. To get them, you basically have to straight swap them with, say, Don Rafaela, even a little bit more. You'd have to be like, say, Don Rafaela and Wilkeman Gonzalez, and that's for another left-handed, right, outfielder who really we don't need in the lineup. Huh. I have not seen that. I'll have to take a look at that, Romero. What's the rumors on Twitter about Marlins pitchers, Seattle pitchers? Nothing really. Top 3 prospects I'm willing to trade. I would be willing to trade, say, Don Rafaela. I'd be willing to trade Nick York. And I'd be willing to trade Wilyer Abreu. No. I'd be willing to trade Nick York, Cedar Rafaela, and Blaze Jordan. Or Nathan Hickey, I guess. Those are all kind of guys that I think are blocked a little bit, either by players who are already on this team or by players who are coming up through the system that are just have a bit higher ceiling. So that would be sort of my big value. Romero. Yeah, Romero to me would be on that list. I just don't think he has no value at all, right? I wouldn't put Romero. Like you'd have to trade him for basically nothing. That's why I didn't put him on here. Any chance York gets back into the top 100 ever again? Probably not. I would guess not with his age. With how close he is to Major League Baseball, I would say probably not going to get back on the top 100. Thoughts on the Polanco deal? I know some people were saying the Twins absolutely fleeced Seattle. I actually like the deal for both sides. You know, I think Seattle has a lot of young pitching depth that they can deal from. So dealing from it isn't the end of the world. And I think what they get in return is going to be valuable and help this immediate team win. If we're talking about being competitive and not spending money, why aren't the Red Sox doing what the Seattle Mariners are doing? And I know obviously they've got the benefit of having that fantastic young core of pitchers, but the Red Sox have a fantastic young core of position players. Why can't they just flip it and do exactly what Seattle did? I mean, Seattle basically did the same thing, but with less money. Ken Rosenthal said, yeah, they currently aren't doing anything, Edwin. That doesn't mean they aren't going to do anything. There's a difference. I can't believe the Sox aren't going to give him a shot this year at second base. I mean, they did invite him as a non-roster invite to spring training. So I mean, maybe there's a chance. He beats out Grissom, who does have options, right? There's that chance, but York hasn't played AAA yet. Am I gonna watch the Sea Dogs this season? I'll probably pay attention to them, but I don't want to get the MILB TV package. It's possible, Ryan. I just don't know. I don't know if the Padres are willing to take, any more trades. I don't know. How the heck does Nick York remind you of the Greek god of walks? Nick York doesn't walk a lot. Yeah, so Vaughn Grissom does have two options. So if he's not performing the way they want him to perform and Nick York is, I think there's a chance they get swapped at some point this year. They're both at the same age. Actually, Grissom's a little bit older. So I don't think it's impossible. I don't think the hype around York is the same as Euclid, dude. Could Perez be starting catcher? Yeah, I think if they find the only way I think Perez is catcher is if they find a deal for Reese McGuire, which I don't think they'll be able to find. Calling Nick York a hit machine is a bit of an exaggeration. He's been good. Don't get me wrong. But he was slightly above average last year, and he was below average in 22. What's up, Pac-Man? Thanks, Dave. Thanks for stopping by. That kid can hit Corbin. Oh, okay, I'll believe TD, the faceless YouTube name, over the statistics. Hey, TD, you can prove him wrong. If Grissom is everyday second baseman all-star in 26, my what-if prediction, if Grissom is everyday, he'll be an all-star in 2026? I don't think that's unrealistic at all. I'll watch TD. I'll watch him. How are you a hit machine with a 24% strikeout rate? And an extremely low walk rate. And a 268 average. How are we going into this season without a left-hand starting pitcher? That's a great question. I don't know if they do. The problem is the only way that happens is if they put money on the table. That's the only way it happens. In my opinion. And I don't know if they're going to put money on the table. Since ownership wants to be a small market team, why not move the team to Utah, Oregon with a different name and get Manfred to get Boston an expansion team? That'd be ridiculous. You could have an infield of Teal, Casas, York, Meyer, and the big guy at third. You could also have an infield of Teal, Casas, Grissom, and Meyer in 2025. Pretty good left-handed reliever. I mean, I guess. It depends on what it would cost, Prodigy. Grissom seems to be able to hit. I just hope he can play second base. That's the thing. Red Sox need to sign a few veterans to teach the young bulls. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'd love to get some legit impact veterans, not just veterans to get veterans. Grissom's a liability at second. Do you think York is good defensively at second base? He's not. Hey, Corbin, I made a video comparing Xander to Grissom a little while ago. I personally feel like their hit tool is extremely similar. I think Grissom has a high floor for his hit tool. I think it's possible, Sox content. I wouldn't put the Xander tag on him because then people are going to be expecting the Xander tag. Does that make sense? TD, I think you just like arguing. Yeah, I'll check it out, Sox content. The Legend of Sandy Leon, that's a good. Who's better at arguing, TD or Chance? Chance is good, man. Chance is hard to beat. If you want to build a team around any current player, who would it be? Man, build a team. Any team, any player in baseball, or any player on this team? Yeah, all right, Sox content. I'll take a look. Any player in baseball? Julio Rodriguez would be up there. Ronald Acuna Jr. would be up there. I mean, Ohtani's an obvious pick, but all right, TD. Appreciate it, man. Acuna's up there. Ohtani's the obvious choice. Soto's a good one. Rutschman I think is a very underrated pick for this. In terms of pitchers, Strider, Gallen. Do you see Brian Mata making his? Yeah, he has to, Edgar. Basically, he has to, or the Red Sox have to DFA him essentially. Essentially, right? That's what you'd have to do. How much do I think Soto gets next year? I don't think he'll get $650 million. I think he'll get like 480. I think Ohtani has raised expectations for MLB contracts, but Ohtani, like everything else he does, is so unique. The only reason it got up to $700 million was because he allowed every team to defer his payments, right? I don't think a lot of teams do that. Or I don't think any other player does that. Yeah, man, keep up the grind, Sox. You'll get there, man. I believe. Your Sandy Leon thumbnail is really good. He turned down 2 hours ago. Where did you see the Yankees offered him $440 million? Genuinely, what reliable news source did you see that from? You think the Yankees will re-sign him? I don't think so, no. I don't think to me, the Juan Soto to New York thing never really scared me because Juan Soto's such a big personality. And I understand New York's probably, the biggest market of sports in the country, if not, California, if you count that. But also the Yankees are just such a stick up your butt team. It's hard to have such a massive personality. Look at their best player, Aaron Judge. He has no personality. None. Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole has no personality. His personality is being a whiny baby. They did just try and Stroman, though. Yeah, and they'll stifle Stroman. They'll stifle Verdugo. And I think Juan Soto wants to go somewhere where he can legitimately be the face of the franchise. He'll never be the face of the franchise in New York because Garrett Cole was there first and Aaron Judge was there first. Baseball's not all of that won't happen. Eventually someone will go. Eventually someone will go somewhere else. Ramara. Stroman in the Yankees is perfect. The biggest tool in the Yankees. Yeah, that'll be an interesting combination. I'm curious to see how that dynamic works for the entire year, especially him with like all the players. Soto back to Washington would be awesome. Yeah, that'd be sick. You think the Sox open the checkbook for Soto? What do you think? Soto the A's next year. Imagine the Orioles get bought and they just sign Soto. Oh, God, that's terrifying. No, I don't think the Red Sox will. If the Red Sox can open up their checkbook next season, it's going to be for starting pitching. It's going to be there's a huge crop of really good starters coming next year. Like really good, right? Burns, Sasaki, Bueller, Bieber kind of gets put into that category. There's like a ton of others. Max Fried, yep. It's at 4 right now for Vegas. Yeah, that'd make a ton of sense for Soto, which would suck, especially under new ownership. That makes me so scared. Any good position free agents next year? I don't think there's a ton of good position players next year. I think it's like Soto. Let me see. MLB. Trackers and tools. Free agent tracker. 2025. All positions. No, we want all batters. Updates. So it's Soto, Goldschmidt, Teoscar Hernandez again, Altuve, Alonso, Bregman, Rizzo. Yeah, it is pretty good. Torres, Gleyber Torres, Willy Adames, Anthony Santander, Suarez possibly. Doogie will be on the open market. Ha-Seong Kim has a mutual option, which will probably get picked up. Tyler O'Neill. Kyle Farmer is a mutual option. Polanco's got a club option, which I doubt. After getting traded, probably not. Rob Refsnyder. There's some pretty good ones. But it's top heavy, like this year was. Rocky's too young without enough time to be a full free agent, so he'll get the Ohtani treatment, but he's still technically a free agent. So for it's international. It's who can offer the most international pool money? I think so. That's gonna be ridiculous, Mike. Bregman's an interesting name next year. He could be, but where do you put him? Yeah, but this is next season, Romero, not this season. I'm actually high on this team, high key. I'm not as low. I'm not as low as I expected to be. Does that make sense? I think winter weekend specifically, like really listening to the team's camaraderie, really trying to like really diving into the actual, because I feel like for the most part this offseason, the only thing we've been doing is focusing on what ownership hasn't been doing, as opposed to what this roster actually looks like. And I think when you really break it down, there's a lot of potential. There's reasons to be excited about the 2024 Red Sox. Does that mean they're going to be a high caliber team? No. Does that mean that they could surprise a lot of people? Yes. Do I think they'll be fun to watch? Hopefully. I think they hope Story and Yoshida have good seasons. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's to move them. They're allowing Trevor Story to be a front-facing player, and they're allowing him to be a leader on the team. I don't know if that's going to lead them to sell all those guys. Guess what it's 80, I think, John. It's a good point, versatility. I know what's going to opening day in Seattle? No. 80.5 is higher than last year. I think they were at 77 last year, so I'll probably pay. I place a bet since it's been legal. I did last year. I'll probably do it this year too and just make it a yearly thing where I'll bet $50 that the Red Sox make the playoffs. You see Wilkman Gonzalez making his debut this season? Depends on injuries, in my opinion, Edgar. The problem, trading Story is one thing. Trading Yoshida is an entirely different conversation, though, Ryan, because it's not just trading him to make room. It's trading him and making a statement to all of Japan, which would be a bad idea because a lot of the talent's coming over from Japan over the next couple of years. So I don't think they end up actually trading Yoshida at all. What are the odds on that bet? God, I don't even know. I don't even know if it's up. Let me see. I'll do it right now, actually, if I can. Versatility, you didn't have to do that, man. Thank you so much. Versatility, you always do this to me, man. You always stop giving me your money. $50 from Versatility. Get some claps to the chat, please. He says, here's your 50. Happy birthday. Thank you so much for all your support, Versatility. I truly do appreciate it. I always feel bad that you give me your money, but it does. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you. I wouldn't be here without some of you, without all of you guys, basically. So it really does mean a lot. Now we got interrupted by Versatility being incredibly generous. Orioles just got sold. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, let's see. Win totals. Boston Red Sox over under 80 wins is over 80 wins is minus 106. Under 80 wins is minus 114. World Series. Let's see what the odds for the Red Sox to make the World Series are. Plus 3,800. So $1 makes you $38, right? For them to win the AL East, it's plus 1,000, the highest odds of the entire division. Cheaper than cable. Thanks. I guess that kind of makes sense, Versatility, but you could always just do it for cheap, you know? You can do it for free. Did I hear Cal Ripken Jr. is part of the new ownership? Oh, dude, we're so screwed. I don't think that's crazy at all, Ryan. I would say like 5. Appreciate it, Taylor. Thank you. About 10 more minutes here, chat. I'm trying to figure out if I can bet on the Red Sox to just straight make the World Series or make the playoffs. But I don't think it's letting me. I think they do. I'm going to make a video maybe right as spring training starts. That's how the Red Sox can shock the world, because I genuinely think they can. MLB home run leaders. Let me see how much is Devers. Devers is plus 3,300. Appreciate it, TD. Thank you. Oh, can't bet that until spring training ends? That's annoying. I think something that will make this season enjoyable will be the ongoing storylines of Anthony, Meyer, and Teal all potentially fast-tracking the majors. You know, the Benintendi in my life. Yeah, I think that'll be a definitely interesting part. That'll be something we're covering pretty heavily on this channel because I think it'll be something that'll be big. Can we make a fantasy baseball league for 20 people? The problem with that is I'd have to pick 20 people, and I don't want to do that. Win the World Series in the Red Sox. Line is March 8th or so. Interesting. Team will be Giolito. I'd like that. Make the playoffs, I'd make the bet. I'm making the bet. I just need to figure out when I can do that. Discord has plans to do the baseball league. There you go, Prodigy. If you want to join the Red Sea Baseball League, you can do the Discord. First 20. Yeah, I don't because someone messes up their connection and I don't want it to feel like a inner circle on this channel. If you want to be in the inner circle, you pay $5 a month, huh? I like that, John. Kind of overrated in my opinion. I don't think any of the Red Sox top 100 prospects are overrated in the slightest. Ever met any of the players on the current team? No, I've talked to Zach Kelly, but that's about it. Where the Red Sox farm system rank in the MLB? I think MLB Pipeline has them at 12, maybe. I need another 5. And then ad plays. I really didn't mean for that to happen, though. That is perfect timing. No, versatility. You do not need to pay. You've paid way too much. I was just looking at something. I had a notification somewhere. There it was. 25 home runs out of Fenway alone this year. I would say under. I think his home run leading was Lucas Giolito has only done that once in his entire career, and everyone's like, oh, like people can have bad years. You know what I mean? Like if that's what you're gonna focus on. It's hard for me to make an argument about why you should have faith in Lucas Giolito because it's literally one season he led the league in home runs. That's it. One season. I did see that, Edgar. Like we're just making the assumption he's going to lead the league in home runs every year because he led the league once in 8 seasons. Well, TD's going to do that because TD may be one of the more negative Red Sox fans on our channel. You think he gets traded or if he's having a great year and they're out of it? If they're out of it, probably. He'd have given up 27 home runs instead of 40. Well, there you go. Giolito has every incentive in the world to try and get this bag this offseason. Wouldn't shock me at all to see an all-star caliber season. Yeah, I don't think it's wrong. It's home run derby night. The Red Sox face the Athletics. Mike, you were really selling me on this deal of everyone playing in AAA stadiums. You're really selling me on it. I don't think, TD, I'm going to be totally honest with you, dude. I don't think I've ever seen you say a positive thing about the Red Sox. And maybe that's because we've only known each other in, I think, only 2023, right? Would you be open to reunion with Adam Duvall? I'd be open to a reunion with Adam Duvall. Do I love it? No. I'm open to it. I don't hate it. I think it's a decent idea, but I love Yamamoto. That's not say something positive about the Red Sox. Also, chat, we already out on Snell and Montgomery? No, not out yet. Soler over Duvall, I agree with that. And Big Papi and Troy, nope. Nope. That's not positive about this Red Sox team. TD, try again. I wouldn't say we're out on them now. Something positive about the Red Sox. We'll do better than the A's. Hey, there you go. All right, chat. 9:30. Stayed a little extra. This is a birthday stream. I feel like but ownership has nothing to do with the actual players on the team. So, yeah, if you can't think of a single thing positive to say about the 2024 Red Sox, you're not a positive person or a positive fan right now. That's a bad way to say positive person. If you were to collect any current Red Sox cards, who do you got? Basically the entire starting lineup. 8 years since David Ortiz retired. Man, that's crazy. Appreciate it again, Versatility. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. All right. So I think we covered just about everything going on with the Sox. Really not a lot, right? I think we'll skip tomorrow video-wise. I'm just flat out trying to come up with ideas, so I'll keep it coming. But I really appreciate all of you being here, all you new members, all you old members. Appreciate you all. Do I think Craig Breslow has something up his sleeve? Man, I'm praying, dude. I'm praying. Maybe we'll get lucky and tonight, right after I sign off, something big will happen, which is more likely going to happen. Is what's the second I'm not available to make a video, that's when they're going to sign somebody. So we'll see. Thank you all again for being here tonight. I really appreciate you. As always, if you've made it to the end of this video and you haven't hit that sub button, or you were here tonight and you thought about hitting that sub button, we talk Red Sox content every single day. Don't feel like you need to boycott the Red Sox. There's still a lot to love about this team, and I'm going to be covering every bit of it. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.